voices. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action. In communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotarygbi.org.
With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Find out more at rotary.org/action.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm a member of Rotary, and we're here to figure out if people actually know what Rotary is. Tell me, what is Rotary?
A rotary phone?
No. Chicken.
It's not a rotary phone or a rotisserie chicken.
Tell me, what is Rotary?
Is it when you get a document stamp?
You've been rotarized.
Let me ask you this. What do you think of when you hear Rotary?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. You go and you all over, and then your toilet gets clogged, so then you have to call the rooter guy.
Do you know what Rotary is?
Is it like a club?
Yes, it's like a club. Do you know what kind of club?
I picture a bunch of old stuffy men sitting around smoking cigars, drinking scotch.
They're ready for you.
Now let's ask some actual Rotarians what Rotary truly is.
When I first moved to the area, I didn't know a lot of people, and I didn't have many friends. But then, when I joined Rotary, I gained friends, a community, and even a family.
To me, Rotary is about being part of our community. Rotary has contributed over $500,000 to places like our local zoo.
It's things like this playground. There was nothing here before. And now it's something everyone can enjoy.
My favorite part of Rotary is learning something new every week, straight from the top leaders in our community. I go to Rotary feeling stressed out from work and leave feeling energized and empowered.
Rotary is about impact on a local, national, and global scale. Like this ballpark for children with special needs.
And helping new Americans learn English in this classroom. Oh yeah, and did I mention that Rotary is working around the world on thousands of projects, such as eradicating polio and providing clean drinking water for millions of people. Rotary is where friends, neighbors, and problem solvers share ideas, join leaders, and take action to create lasting change.
Go Rotary!
this close.
We are this close.
This close to making history.
This close.
We're this close, this close. We are this close.
We are this close.
This close.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close to making sure no child suffers of crippling disease ever again.
We are this close to making history.
We are this close to ending polio. We're this close to ending polio. We're this close.
This close.
This close to ending polio.
This close.
We are this close to ending polio. All we need is you.
All we need is you.
All we need is you. Is you.
All we need is you.
This close. If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolio.org.
This is a story of historic progress, a story that doesn't exist without you. Our unifying effort in 3 decades of action demonstrates our commitment and endurance. And our progress thus far shows that a polio-free world is achievable. Individuals, clubs, partners, and governments share a collective vision to improve the health of every single child. We've eliminated polio in some of the most difficult places, overcoming obstacles and navigating complex issues. Our successes prove that polio will be eradicated, and while ending a global disease is not easy, as Rotary, we don't give up. We'll continue our fight until each child is protected. This isn't possible without you. So stay involved, keep pushing forward, engage your clubs and communities. Start a social media conversation and increase visibility on the importance of this global effort. Hold events and fundraisers on World Polio Day and throughout the year. Advocate to governments about the importance of supporting polio eradication. Make a contribution and invest in one of the largest health initiatives ever. Be a character in our story. Be the solution to our challenge. It's because of each and every one of you that we will improve our future by making polio a disease of the past. Eradication is possible, so let's keep our promise.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests, and welcome to the third installment of Infinite Possibilities, Women in Rotary, presented by District 6960 and co-sponsored by Rotary Zones 33-34. I am Darrell Keyes, District Governor of District 6960, which represents all of Southwest Florida. Our Rotary International theme for the year is Rotary Opens Opportunities. This seminar series is offered in the hope that you will learn about opportunities through our speakers. You will also understand more about this incredible organization, and you will meet with like-minded people. In July, Dr. Sylvia Whitlock, the first female Rotary Club president, was our first presenter. That session focused on her journey from joining Rotary before women were allowed to the Supreme Court decision to open Rotary's doors to women, and her leadership throughout the last 38 years. In August, we hosted Jenny Stotts, a troublemaking millennial who encouraged us all to find our Rotary happy and who advocates for our Rotary Club members to mirror our communities. Those thoughtful presentations encouraged all of us to reflect on how we can increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in our clubs. And today we are thrilled to have past Rotary International Vice President, Dean Rohrs. Get ready for an outstanding presentation. I'm especially excited today to introduce our host, past Rotary International Director, John Smarge, who is from our home district of 6960. And I'm also pleased that the Infinite Possibilities Chair, past District Governor Cindy Doro, is our co-host. First and foremost, since 1982, John has been a proud member of the Rotary Club of Naples, where he is currently serving as the membership chair. John has also served in many roles, but most recently as Rotary International Director, Chair of the Executive Committee, and the President's Aide to past Rotary International President Barry Racine. John has served on numerous Rotary International committees, including chairing for 2 years the Rotary International Communications Committee, and served 3 times as a member of the Rotary International President Nominating Committee. His service to Rotary is only exceeded by his service to his community. He has received numerous awards and accolades, and in 1999 was the Rotarian of the Decade for District 6960. John is the chair of the Rotary International Convention in Houston in 2022 and is a founding member of HANWASH, Haiti National Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Initiative, focused on providing clean water and sanitation to the residents of Haiti, and created a model that used the world. And his wife Cindy are major donors and Bequest Society members. He has 3 daughters and 2 grandchildren. And with all of John's past and current titles, his favorite title is Grandpa. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Governor Darrell, and welcome to the more than 500 participants who have joined us today for what I'm certain will be another outstanding presentation about the role of women in Rotary. As Governor Darrell mentioned, in the first 2 sessions, we focused on our beginning with Dr. Whitlock breaking barriers, and our future with the millennial Jenny Stotts leading the way. Women have strengthened our clubs, bringing new perspectives, a tremendous work ethic, and a commitment to our communities, both local and global. We know there are women in our communities who are leading companies, running nonprofits, and serving in government. Rotary recognizes the importance of having women in leadership positions at the club, the district, the regional, and the international level. While a great leader is not gender specific, women and men often have different perspectives on situations and different leadership styles. These varying perspectives, especially in an organization like Rotary, bring the best of our thinking to the table to enable us to achieve things like provide clean water and sanitation, offer educational opportunities to poorer communities, mobilize medical support for child and maternal health, and create independence for women and their families. Our leadership, comprised of both men and women, are outstanding representatives of individuals who use their time, talent, and treasures to make this a better world for all of us. Our speaker today, Dean Rohrs, is one of those persons. She brings her hard-earned skills and abilities, a dedicated work ethic and integrity to every project, every program, and every position in which she serves. Dean has had a varied career, serving as an operating room nurse on Dr. Christian Bernard's first heart transplant team, to running a nursery school in Malawi, to currently managing a company that is involved in soil stabilization during road construction. Imagine the competencies and experience that she brings to the table in key Rotary leadership positions. Dean and her husband Rhino live in Canada after emigrating from South Africa 32 years ago. Born into a Rotary family, she became very active as a Rotarian when Rhino joined Rotary in 1986. Now remember, this was before the Supreme Court case on women joining Rotary. When they arrived in Vancouver, they both joined the Rotary Club of West Vancouver and are currently members of the Rotary Club of Langley Central in District 5050. She has served as a regional Rotary coordinator, regional Rotary Foundation coordinator, Pacific Northwest PETS chair, district governor in 2007 and 8, and RI director. In 2017-18, she served as the vice president for Rotary International. However, for those who know her well, you want to see Dean's eyes light up? Ask her about her experience in leading countless teams of Rotarians, Rotaractors, and Interactors to Africa, and seeing how this volunteer experience changes their lives. My friends, if you've not figured it out yet, this lady is the real deal. Please join me in welcoming past Rotary International Vice President, Dean Rohrs.
Thank you, John. My goodness. I'm always overwhelmed by the words that are spoken by somebody who's introducing me, and I really, really wish my mom and dad were here to hear this. Maybe it would make a little difference on the way they regarded their rather wayward daughter. But thank you, John, for that great introduction, and thank you to the leaders within this group for inviting me to be able to share my story with you today. So, as a Rotarian, we are very often presented with challenges which limit us in getting our Rotary work done. But no challenge is insurmountable, and the reality is that to overcome a challenge, you need courage, but you also need a plan. In other words, leadership and a plan, and I would add specifically, so relevant in Rotary, the mentorship of those that go before you. And I hereby honor Sylvia Whitlock and Jenny Stotts and those brave women, the female past presidents of Rotary clubs, district governors, directors, and trustees that have gone before me, and in fact, every woman that is prepared to be a Rotarian and take on any leadership role. But we have to pause a moment and we need to ask ourselves, how small are the challenges that we face within our clubs, within our districts, within Rotary, when we look at the big picture that surrounds us? Do we weigh the politics and the ego that present these challenges within our clubs against the daily challenges faced by the underprivileged women and children of the world? Even in our personal lives, challenges rise up to face us, but it's the challenges that make us who we are today. I am so proud to be part of Rotary, especially now that Rotary has focused on developing a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture. This has been the backbone of my life, something that I fought for from a very early age. And I will share with you some of my story. I was born into a true privileged white Afrikaner family in South Africa, and my forefathers were intertwined with the colonization of this whole area, the power of the Dutch Reformed Church, and the establishment of the Afrikanerdom. I grew up in a family, a church, and a community that not only accepted the premise that women stood below any man, and that all races other than white were inferior and subservient, but that it was our mission from God to keep it that way. And today, this is not only a scar on my psyche, but on the world that allowed this to happen. And on a daily basis, as I look at the television screens and the news across the world, I have the same anxiety rise within my soul, because I see the same issues establishing themselves across our world. Women and men fighting for rights. Women and men putting themselves into a position of danger to stand up for what they believe in. Leaders of countries being disrespectful, not being honest, not being morally integrally honest within themselves and with the people that they speak with. Our world has not changed from those days so long ago, and that concerns me. And somewhere along the line, we have to ask the question, what is our role of women in Rotary on the issues that we face on a daily basis outside of Rotary? But back to my story. I was lucky. I grew up in Zambia, and although an idyllic life for a child, it also was a raw and heartbreaking experience where I was soon exposed to the reality of man's inhumanity to man, to women's subjugation, specifically to racism, and the lack of respect for a human's right to be equal and receive equal opportunity. We have to understand that these issues are still insidious in every facet of our lives. There isn't a single one of us who has not been exposed to it. It manifests itself in so many different ways, in bullying, in the social divides, in the haves and the have-nots, and that glass ceiling. My first exposure to this reality was when revolution came to the then Belgian Congo, and my mother, as head of the Red Cross, was in charge of evacuating the refugees from that area. My duty was to meet the planes as they landed with their loads of refugees. That is, until that plane landed with 30 Roman Catholic nuns, women, from one of the convents that had been raped and then had their hands cut off. And I remember standing at the door of that plane, the smell, the soft moans and the prayers, and my world fell apart. I was 15 years old, and the first time that I was presented with a huge challenge of how does one live with this reality of what one human can do to another, and how does one overcome a challenge such as this? But soon after that, I left for university in South Africa, and these were very unsettled times, with South Africa becoming a republic and moving into those depths of apartheid. This was the decade of defiance. Demonstrations by those charismatic rulers such as Walter Sisulu and Nelson Mandela, who were defying the world, and I suddenly could find my voice to my thoughts and questions. So I joined the banned African National Congress Party, and I joyously stepped into the demonstrations against the oppressive regime and straight into the arms of a policeman. How dared I, a white African, speak against the government? So the visions that I see in the news that I see on a daily basis today lifts up these memories very, very strongly in my mind. But I remember so clearly that burning feeling of righteousness, the anger, the adrenaline rush, and the brick wall of reality when my body hit that bare cement floor of the women's prison of the old fort in Johannesburg. I had my hands handcuffed behind my back, and then the cold of the bare cement floor and the quiet of those that were around me. And that fear came rushing in. A fear so great that I cannot describe it. And remember, I was of the privileged white Afrikaner race. We were kept in that prison for 2 weeks. And these are memories and a challenge that I kind of yet have to overcome. Now, some time ago, I took a team of interactors to South Africa, and our Rotarian hosts took us on a tour of Constitution Hill, where the Court for Truth and Reconciliation now stands. And driving up that hill to our destination, I was so excited to be going back to such a symbol of change. But suddenly I could feel the hair on the back of my head rising up. I could feel the cold of a concrete floor, and I could feel this uncontrollable fear starting to consume me as I recognized that today I had to face my past and the fears that still rise in my soul, because Constitution Hill, now the symbol of change and promise, was built on the horror of the old fort. So more than 50 years to my last footsteps on that hill, I joined the students on that tour, starting with the men's prison. And you know, once again, my world fell apart. I had never allowed myself to face that reality, to actually see the whipping rack that men and women were tied to while they received the punishment delivered by the order of a court. 50 lashes, because they weren't carrying their ID documents. And honestly, I carry this with me because I cannot describe the shame that I felt that day, knowing that I had never faced up to this challenge of man's inhumanity to man and woman. But in looking back at what has followed since, I realize that Rotary has been my solace and the vehicle that has allowed me to overcome my life's challenges. The magic of a Rotary allows ordinary people like us to accomplish extraordinary things. Our service not only transforms others' lives, but is in itself a life-changing experience for us as well. Through Rotary, we become a part of something larger than ourselves and make Rotary greater than the sum of its parts. I have now been a woman in Rotary for more than 30 years. Rotary has changed enormously in those 30 years. It's changed for the positive. Now, my husband was a Rotarian, as you heard in my bio, and I automatically, when he joined Rotary, became a Rotary-an. It was an interesting experience, as although my Rotary-an club worked independently, it was much under the direction of the partner Rotarian club. And we were never, ever on an equal footing with them. I couldn't wait to join Rotary when that magic moment came when we could do so. But interestingly, my father, a very proud and committed Rotarian for over 50 years, never ever recognized me as a Rotarian, as he was totally against women in Rotary clubs. And I often wonder what he would have thought, knowing that it was his daughter and not his son that followed his example of service and eventually became vice president of the organization that he worked so hard for. Maybe it was that challenge that drove me in my Rotary journey. I have no doubt that my mom has been sitting there cheering me along. And I do hope that by now, Dad has come around to this inclusion of women and the great benefit that they are bringing to this wonderful organization of ours. Now, when we arrived in Canada, I joined Rotary immediately, but I joined the wrong club. A traditional club in every way, with all these very honorable gentlemen doing incredible Rotary work, the captains of industry and the leaders within their community, and very, very set in their ways. And here I was not only a woman, but an African woman, aggressive and very unaware of her place in her club. But to cut a long story short, after some time, I received a letter from the club. Not a face-to-face discussion, but a letter in the mail asking me for my resignation, as I was not a fit for that club. You can imagine my consternation and my distress, because here I was thinking I was being a good Rotarian. But the solution was, we started another Rotary club. And a little while back, I was asked by this club, who didn't want me, to please come and talk to them about what they need to do to grow membership and to revitalize their club. And I will leave it to all of you to imagine just how I got my revenge. Oh, a lady never forgets. And there have been many times through my Rotary journey, when I've had an irate Rotarian standing in front of me, punching me in my shoulder and asking me, "What are you women doing in Rotary? You should be joining Seroptimists. You have a different role to play. You have changed the tenure of my club by your presence." Always take the high road. Never, never respond. These are people who have their own issues to deal with. Rotary is far, far greater than the message that they are trying to impart. My greatest joy as a director and then as vice president was to find that being female was not ever an issue. I was respected for what I brought to the table. I was involved and had equal opportunity. My thoughts and skills were sought after. It was worth the fight during the years of climbing the Rotary ladder to stay the course, because it showed in the end acceptance and respect for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I just wish that I could say the same for some of those traditional old boys style Rotary clubs and districts out there, and also those country cultures of the different Rotary countries who still consider a woman not to be equal in every right. Bono from the band U2 says, "The circumstance of our birth should not dictate whether we live or die, whether we have equal opportunity or not, whether we sleep in poverty or not." This is the reality that drives us as Rotarians. The need to make sure that no matter what the circumstance of birth, every individual has equal opportunity to overcome these challenges, and that we can give every single person an advantage in life. When we talk about overcoming challenge, we have to acknowledge one man. And he stands out above many for having the courage to remain a true humanitarian, morally and ethically uncompromised, courageous beyond compare despite every injustice that came his way. A man who supported women's rights, and humanitarian service. And his name is Nelson Mandela. I use this quote in almost every presentation that I give because I think it is so relevant to Rotary. And I think it is so relevant to the woman's journey in Rotary. Nelson Mandela said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back at the distance that I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom comes responsibility, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. As women leaders in your districts, as Rotarians in your districts, you can motivate, educate, and influence Rotarians. The challenges you will face will be both large and small, but each will be important to you, and to take on this mantle of leadership and make it effective, you will face the challenges with courage, and in doing so, you will find a solution. What a great new vista for Rotary as we embrace our first female president of Rotary International. This so clearly demonstrates that Rotary finally is ready to embrace complete diversity, equity, and equality. I congratulate Jennifer Jones and wish her the very best for the years ahead. I wish Rotary the very best years ahead as women take up 50% of membership and leadership roles. This time is now. Let us embrace and support this. I wish you peace and courage to overcome all the challenges in your way, in your journey through life, and in Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. That was a wonderful presentation, and we have several questions. But as a reminder for those in our audience, please note what's on the slide, which is that if you have questions, they should go in the question and answer button on your screen and not into the chat feature. So now, Dean, let's begin with our questions. And the first we have is, you've done so many varied things. If there's anything you could do over, what would it be?
Many. Oh my gosh, when one looks back on the memories of your life and you look at the things that you have done, yes, there are things I would have done differently. I don't think I regret having done any of the things that I have done, but I certainly regret the way that I might have changed the direction of the results of the decisions that I took. I don't think I would change my militant attitude in Rotary from day one. I don't think I would change the way that I handled it. I think I might have softened some of it in some ways, because the consequences of some of the actions that I took in that were not always beneficial to me, maybe not to the person I was dealing with either. But no, I have no regrets. And I don't think I want to change anything in that manner, other than I wish that I had had the experience of how to deal with people and situations that I have today when I was 50 years old. I really, really wish that on every woman leading the chance, use the mentorship that you have from people around you, ask advice and help, because I know the advice I give today is different to the advice I gave in the past. So really, no regrets, no changes, a softening.
Thank you. You've served at the very highest levels in Rotary. What do you believe is the key change needed to achieve gender equity in our organization?
It's in the clubs. I think the clubs have to change attitudes, and we are a grassroots organization starting within the clubs. If the clubs themselves present a culture of complete diversity, equity, and inclusion, it will filter its way up into that middle ground. I find in many instances that clubs are innovative, flexible, acceptance. We have a huge amount of women moving through Rotary. We have a huge amount of women that are ready for leadership roles. But somewhere between the club and Rotary International senior positions, there seems to be a frozen middle ground, a ground of Rotarians who have been in their positions for many, many years and do not want to accept this change. I wish we could break through this frozen middle ground on a consistent basis. There are many, many avenues passing through this now, and this is where I see change coming. But this is where we need the greatest change, that there should be complete acceptance of no gender in any position, in any job. There should be no consideration we are male or female. We should just be Rotarians and offer equal opportunity. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Assuming her selection is not challenged, what do you think will be the impact of Jennifer Jones serving as Rotary president?
I think it's going to be huge. I actually think that she's going to bring an energy and a passion from a completely different side. She is going to present an aspect of humanitarian service, which I think has been a little bit lacking when we always have our male figureheads standing in front. She's definitely going to grow. Female membership. I already am introducing young women who are so excited to see the possibility of future in Rotary into new club membership within my area. I think it is showing the world that Rotary has stepped into today and into tomorrow, that we join the rest of the world by having a truly strong women's leader that will lead us into the future. Jennifer's skills with communication, her skills in marketing Rotary is going to move Rotary onto a different platform. We accept in every sense that everybody brings something special to the table. Well, Jen has many special skills she will be bringing to the table. And I think we're going to have a very passionate, exciting, communicable year in Rotary, the year she serves as our president. And I proudly am going to be there and hopefully support her along this journey.
Very good. We have a question from our Rotarian who is a woman of color, and she asks, what advice would you give her as an emerging leader?
Disregard the fact that you are of color. You are a woman. You represent your color. Be proud of being your color, but don't make it part of your fight. Just step forward as a proud woman of color that you are. Don't ever feel that because you are of color, this makes you any different to everybody else. I am of color. I'm of white color. I'm proud of being that. But I know the barriers that you face because it's twofold. It's not only of color, and it's being a woman. But don't use the color as a barrier. Don't use it as a flag. You are a woman. You are a woman of color. Be proud of it. Just step forward and know that everything in life is attainable, even for me. And I'm an old African woman. And for me to have developed into being the vice president of Rotary International shows if I can do it, anybody can do it. But we as Rotarians should have zero tolerance of any color barrier. So accept the fact that you have every power within your body to do what you wish to do. Step forward, embrace who you are, and be proud.
Thank you. So we have a question following up on your reference to planning, and it is, what are the most important characteristics of the most effective plans in your view?
They have to be realistic, they have to be attainable, and you have to have them broken down into little steps. I always quote the African quotation, how do you eat an elephant? My goal is, my plan is to eat that elephant, but how am I going to do it? And the only way that I can do it is one bite at a time. Knowing which bite I'm going to take, knowing how large the bite is, how soon I can take the next bite, that is part of the plan. Have your goal, break it down into the little steps, and make them manageable and achieve them one bite at a time.
Very good. So we have another question, which is, how can we dismantle the patriarchal traditions, processes, and policies of Rotary?
I'm not sure that there are that many that have not yet been dismantled. Honestly and truly, I think if you read through our code of policy, not anywhere in our code of policy is there an unequal bias for male or female. With Rotary's new diversity, equity, and inclusion statement, it is showing that we are moving visibly forward into this acceptance. Yes, we still have our bastions of the old boys clubs. We still have our areas of where the influence is male dominated. But as a patriarchal society that is being challenged from every single side, our board of directors next year will almost be 50% women. That is saying something about the journey that Rotary has taken. And I compliment the men whose society this was, whose organization this was, who have embraced this change in the way that they have. Now with the selection of the first female president, another barrier is down. How many barriers are there still left that we really need to challenge? We have female directors, we have female trustees, we have female vice presidents, and now a female president. We as women need to always be present. We always need to say our story and give our side of our thoughts and recommendations. We prove that we're a benefit to the society. We prove that we are the future of Rotary. But it's a 50-50 relationship. So there will always be different thoughts and ideas because we think differently. But it's those differences which will make the strength of Rotary International. So I acknowledge that we have come from a very strong patriarchal structure, but that has been challenged at every single level. We have broken one glass ceiling after the other. We are there. We are there. Let us honor the journey that we have made, as Nelson Mandela said. Let's stop and pause and enjoy this moment where we are at. We know there are still hills to climb, but we will climb them. We will reach those peaks, and then perhaps we won't have a question asking about patriarchal societies. There will no longer be a necessity for that. And I look forward to that time.
Dean, in your view, is achieving gender equity in Rotary a matter of numbers or something else?
It's both. It's both. The numbers demonstrate the passion and the vision and the achievement of the goal. It is absolutely both. The more women we have, the more attitudes change. The more attitudes change, the more women we have. So you can't uncouple the two from each other. But I think that Rotary in the next couple of years is going to show a great difference. In Russia, for example, almost 50% of membership is women. In Africa, almost 50% of women, almost 50% of Rotarian membership are women. It's different in different cultures. We have countries where women are still subjugated, are still held in a lower position, where they are not allowed to be shown into positions that we are asking for them to be shown into. Those numbers will never really change. We have countries that traditionally, like Japan, which is very, very strong in male membership. Some of the European countries still have a complete imbalance in male and female. But these are changing. As society changes, as the modern world changes, as the youth of today no longer see barriers of gender anywhere, the world will change around us. And as the world changes around us, so Rotary will change as well, because Rotary is on the forefront of that change at the moment in bringing in our new thoughts and ideas. So it's coupled together, the numbers game and the woman's passion will lead to an equitable society.
Dean, it comes as a surprise to some, but we still have clubs that will not accept women as members. Why is Rotary allowing this to happen?
You know what? I honestly don't know, because I thought it was Rotary's absolute drive. Past President Ravi Ravindran actually said in his year as a president that any Rotary club that does not permit women will have its charter pulled. I personally spoke at some male-only clubs, which are now clubs with both genders. But we have to consider that there are cultures where there is no association between men and women. So we do have some women-only clubs and we do have men-only clubs. But in our society, in the society where we have equal rights, there is no excuse. And I honestly and truly do not know why this is still the case. It's not part of our code. It's not part of our constitution. So if there are still male-dominated clubs, we need to know about them, because somebody does need to do something about that.
Dean, we have a question from a Rotarian who is a University Rotaract Club advisor. And she asks, what advice would you give to the young men and young women who are from all around the world who are members of that club as they plan their future in Rotary?
Dream the impossible dream. You know, the power of Rotary is such that and I've said it, it makes an ordinary person like me achieve impossible things. I never ever dreamed that I, as this African woman, would sit at a table with the heads of state, would do the projects that I do, be able to change communities' lives and philosophy because of the power of Rotary. Commit to Rotary, be passionate about Rotary, learn about Rotary. That's the best thing that you can do. Learn how to use the power of Rotary in every single way. Think about your own circles, how you develop the friendships and the fellowships and this whole international family from around the world. Think about your own personal growth that comes from a relationship with Rotary, from being a member of the Rotary family. Think of the ethical backbone it gives you in your business, in your daily life, in your family life, in your community life. If every single one of the youth of the world knew, understood, and were part of Rotary, we would not have conflict. We would not have the issues that we have today. Use Rotary. Take Rotary. Make it your friend. Invest in Rotary, because Rotary will invest in you.
Well, as always, we have more questions than we have time. Thank you, Dean, for an outstanding presentation. And now for the next part of today's program, I turn it back to past Rotary International Director, John Smarge.
Thank you, Pete. Dean, you truly make all of us proud to be a Rotarian. You were today, as you always are, truly inspirational. Now, I'm happy to be sharing hosting duties today with past District Governor Cindy Dora, who served in District 6960 during the Rotary year 2015 and 2016. She's an active member of the Rotary Club of Fort Myers South. Currently, Cindy is a Zone 34 Assistant Rotary Coordinator, focusing on membership and chairs this Infinite Possibility series. Cindy has been very involved in training as a Rotary Leadership Institute discussion leader, President-elect's training seminar trainer, and as a district governor nominee spouse trainer at the Zone Institute. She has also served as the Rotary Leadership Institute Sunshine Division Resource and Development Chair. And she will be the co-chair of the Zone 33-34 reception at the 2021 International Convention in Taipei. And I promise you, when Cindy is involved with anything, you know it's going to be a party you won't want to miss. Cindy is actively involved in her community and is married to Pete Dora, also a past district governor of District 6960. Cindy and Pete are major donors, benefactors, and Bequest Society members. They have 5 children who are all Paul Harris Fellows and 3 grandchildren. Please welcome Cindy.
Thank you so much, John. Dean, I just have to tell you, my face hurts because I am grinning ear to ear, loving every word you spoke and inspired by the amazing story, your history, and motivated to make a big difference in our world through Rotary. So, oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you. We anticipated a great presentation, and boy, did you deliver. You, as well as other female leaders who have stepped into challenging positions, serve as role models for all of us. And your hard-earned words of wisdom have been heard today. You should see all the comments in the chat box and all the questions we didn't get to. It's so inspiring and so exciting. And your words of wisdom will be contemplated for time and time to come. And we've already seen people are going to be using this video presentation for motivation at the club level. So, wow, so exciting, Dean. Our communities and around the world need to hear your voice and more strong leaderships like you. We all need to share our time and our talent and our treasure, contributing to making our world a better place of inclusion and a place of equity. Our challenge is to ensure our clubs and leadership reflect that in our communities. So to all of you watching today that are in leadership positions at the club level, send and share this message to your membership. This series is all about a conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to encourage all of you, but especially we want to encourage female Rotarians to pursue your ambitions and to help change the discussion from what can't be done to what can be done and what will be done within yourself, within your club, your community, and indeed around the world. If you're not a Rotarian and you've watched this and you're inspired, we invite you to join us. This is the best organization in the world, and I am proud to represent Rotary. We do make a difference, and we do discover the possibilities. Now, this series, we have a call of action. We want to leave with you from these sessions, but we also want you to take action. So we suggest the following. Please take note of the contact information on each slide that comes up on the screen. The first one references past District Governor Pete Dora to find out more information about the Rotary Action Group that we have proposed to Rotary International entitled Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This action group is in the process of being created, and we're looking for great people to get involved. Please write down Pete's contact information so that you can become a part of that initiative. The second is in our series is we're supporting a Rotary Action Group on family safety. Please consider making a donation or getting involved. The contact information is on your screen right now, so please write that down. And if you would like to share your treasure or your time, please reach out to them and provide your contact information. Third, again, if you're not a Rotarian, guess what? You can call me or email me or send me a note some way. We want you, and I will personally respond and invite you to Rotary. But if for some reason you can't reach me, look up Google Rotary in your area and reach out to an area club, because we know they would welcome you with open arms. But please feel free to contact me, because I would love to touch base. And finally, please strive to do more. Lean in. Step up to leadership positions. If you're sitting in a club meeting and they need someone to lead the charge, raise your hand, jump up and say, I'm the one. I am willing to do that. Don't sit and wait to be asked. Jump up and grab it and run with gusto. Rotarians, we connect, we mentor, we learn, we empower, we serve, because we are people of action. Won't you join us? And finally, thank you. It is my pleasure to turn it over to Zone 34 Rotary Coordinator, George Robertson Burnett. George leads our fabulous Zone 34 team focused on building and enhancing Rotary membership. George, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you to both of our hosts today, John and Cindy. And a very, very big thank you also to our wonderful speaker today, past Rotary International Vice President Dean Rohrs. I agree with the words of Lydia Surgett in the chat box. How inspiring. As Cindy has indicated, I have the pleasure of working every day with committed Rotarians, both women and men, who are focused on identifying outstanding service-oriented people who want to make a difference. We don't just ask prospective members to join clubs that will fulfill their expectations, but also to join a worldwide fellowship dedicated to making that difference and creating positive change in our communities and globally. Today, I ask you to become a member of the Grow Rotary team by inviting someone like you, or perhaps not like you, to experience what Rotary has to offer. In the US, there is a growing trend of people looking for service opportunities. These people are waiting to be asked. As Rotary Coordinator for Zone 34, I applaud District 6960 and Zones 33 and 34 for this wonderful series. Throughout this series, we have listened to thought-provoking stories shared by dynamic women. Our intent is to challenge each and every one of you to join us on this journey to increase our membership by inviting more professional women and by seeking diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of our efforts. Our next session is scheduled for Friday, October the 30th at 1 p.m. and we have a surprise speaker that you certainly won't want to miss. Be on the lookout for upcoming registration information and please register early. Also make note on your calendars that the second part of our series, titled Infinite Possibilities, Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, will launch in January 2021 and run through April 2021. Stay tuned for more to come on that series. For your convenience, this session has been recorded and will be available at www.rizones3334.org, Infinite Possibilities Videos. We very much look forward to seeing you in October. Thank you again for attending today and have a fabulous weekend.